Hey guys, welcome back to the Lawrence McKenna on LFC channel. I don't know if that's catchy enough, but we'll make it stick. We are going to preview the Fulham versus Liverpool game. Tricky one to preview because it's over two legs, and obviously Liverpool are without a lot of players. I'll go through that list in just a second. But if you want to get involved with the channel, if you want to contribute to the Patreon, then there is a Patreon link in the description below. We're building a community. There's Discord. There are going to be all sorts of BTS things there. There are going to be director's commentaries. Do you want, not of this sort of thing, but of like, other stuff we've obviously done, and there's going to be plenty of other stuff. So if you want to head over there, you can follow it for free, or you can join it and support the channel and obviously everything else that's going on around here for a minimal amount or a slightly bigger amount if you support the work. Liverpool are going to face Fulham on the back of what I consider to be one of the big games of the season, and we can unpack why in just a second, why this was a big game. It was big for basically the first reason, Klopp maximised this squad. They were without Virgil van Dijk, they were without Endo, Szoboszlai, and of course Mohamed Salah up front. They rotated that front line in multiple different ways within one game. But not only that, I think what a lot of people are overlooking when we're going back to the Arsenal game, and obviously I sort of covered this in what I was seeing in the stadium when I did my post-match review, but what I really saw was that Arsenal obviously had Liverpool very much sussed in the first half, or Liverpool couldn't suss out what Arsenal were doing to kind of counteract it. It wasn't that it was like, oh, this is unworkable, outable, but it's like when you're out on the pitch and you're trying to read things, it's a little bit different to when you're sitting up in the stands. I could see all the formations moving around. I didn't quite feel as nervous maybe as some people in the comments. There was an Arsenal video I did, there was a Liverpool video I did, kind of made me think I should feel. And maybe that was because inside the stadium, the atmosphere is a little bit different. You obviously, when you ride your luck a little bit, then you sort of look at each other and go, oh, like maybe this team are capable of defending. And also stats don't tell you everything, right? Obviously, people can say that Arsenal dominated the first half and Liverpool dominated the second one, or Arsenal dominated the first half and Liverpool came back in the second. There are feelings that go along with these kind of things, but at the same time, there are the quantifiable unquantifiables, as people say it, the eye test. Things where you look at someone like Konate and you go, he is huge. You look at someone like Trent and you go, wow, he runs back quickly. You look at people alongside those like Quansah or whoever else that you want to put in that back line, it's probably going to have to be Joe Gomez tonight. And you go, they're a unit. They understand each other. They're all willing to put each other's bodies on the line in order to win this game. And they understand what's on the line. So it's not just a statistical exercise in saying, hey, we had more possession than you, we had more shots than you. In the same way as when Manchester United visited Liverpool, it wasn't just a statistical exercise. And nor did you only win the argument as to whether United were good or bad in that game on statistics. Now, all of that to say that what that gives is it gives the team real confidence when they are rotating. And there are times, of course, where, a couple of people said to me, it doesn't look like this team's played together at all. And they were right. Like, there are huge elements of this side that haven't played together at all. And there'll be elements of this team that haven't played together or have barely played together this season at all, especially when you look at this injury list. First of all, Thiago Alcantara and Stefan Bajcetic. Obviously, those two have been out for a while. Some people saying they're going to be back in February, but I'll believe it when I see it. Obviously, I'd love to see either of them back. It's not that I doubt either of them. It's just these are very long return schedules, and I think they should be at their best when we get them back, or at least you would want them at their best. Really into tea. I know it sounds like such a YouTuber-y thing to say, but just a bit over coffee at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, Trent Alexander-Arnold, the big headline for this evening, is out. Trent went down the side of the field, I think, at Arsenal and sort of hyperextended his knee. Therefore, as Pep Lindger says here, hyperextended his knee during the last game. So he has a little tear in the lateral ligament. I like the detail that Pep Lindger goes into. I was going to do another video on him. I think I will do another video on him on this channel, because when people credit Klopp for what he did in the last game, or they credit him at Newcastle or any of these other things, this has been a master plan that... calling it a master plan makes it sound quite big, but there's been a master plan and a long-term strategy that Klopp and Pep Lindger have employed to get the team to this point, to get the team to an adaptable, malleable side. And I think he deserves some of the credit for that. Anyway, I'll go into that in the other video. Trent being out is fairly big. Having said that, we still do have people like Joe Gomez in the side. However, we don't have people like Kostas Tsimikas, who were playing on the left side, obviously, before that. We don't have people like Joel Matip, obviously I've copied and pasted this on the Liverpool website, so there's been a Liverpool text in there. Andy Robertson, we also don't have Dominic Szoboszlai still. Of course, you probably wouldn't expect to see him in a cup game anyway like this. And then, of course, Wataru Endo, and of course, Mohamed Salah. All of that adding up to 10 players out. Now, that may present someone like Connor Bradley with a great opportunity. It may present a couple of other young players in the side with a decent opportunity. It may also just present, I don't know, not fringe players, but players who are more squad rotational with a bit more of an opportunity. We're talking about people like Harvey Elliott here. We're talking about people like, originally it would have been Endo. It's not Curtis Jones anymore. There's other people within the squad where you look at the team and go, all right, well, maybe you can come in. You're talking Kwanzaa. You're talking Kevin Kelleher. Those are three players that I think Liverpool want to bring forward. They want to progress, and they're going to play in a game like this. Kelleher's been our cup goalkeeper now for quite some time, and obviously, I think in the last game against Arsenal, that's slightly different because we didn't have Virgil van Dijk in the back line, and then you've got Alisson in there. You need some sort of leadership if you're going to put him behind Kwanzaa. I'm going to be interested to see if Jarell plays alongside Virgil or if they stick with the Konate-Kwanzaa combination, especially considering what Fulham are very good at more recently and the way that they can get people like Deco-Overeem in, the way that they can get some of their more tricky players to really run at Liverpool and give them something to think about. Those are things that, obviously in the last game, we kind of proved that we could stand up against when you saw that you had a McAllister being able to sit deep, or you saw that you had, a Curtis Jones being able to sit alongside that, or you also saw what someone like Harvey Elliott could do in place of someone like Szoboszlai. Now, having said all of this, Liverpool, because of the 10 injuries and obviously people being away on international duty, are fairly light. I would have liked to see a Ben Doak in a game like this. And actually what's weird about it is, Ben Doak, I like. I like the profile of Ben Doak. When he's played for Liverpool, I'm not sure that anyone's ever felt like he's been, stand out to the degree where you go, right, he's got to be a first-team starter. He's someone who's been on the fringes, and he's definitely someone who's performed very well, and I think he's someone who's got a very high ceiling. But at the same time, and obviously if Klopp likes him, then we like him. But at the same time, I've never really looked at it and gone, I see this is what's going to happen due to you doing that. Now, obviously, he's also been tactically briefed when going out there, and he's been told to run at players, he's been told to do X, Y, Z in place of a Mo Salah or someone like that. But if you look at what we're really trying to achieve without a Mo Salah in the team, without someone who's capable of running at the opposition, you're probably looking at Harvey Elliott starting there. But then when you look at the other players who are out, you probably look at Harvey Elliott starting on the right side of midfield. And then I kind of enjoyed, I'm just putting it out there, I kind of enjoyed watching Luis Diaz out there as well. I liked him on that right-hand side. He was playing on a natural foot. Obviously, there's a much more natural path for him when he cuts in on his left and can kind of shoot across goal. And that has been somewhere he feels a lot more comfortable. But he also looked equally comfortable on the other side as well. All of that. And then you can also say, Liverpool have got this over two legs. So let's not rush into this one here. Let's not go crazy over, hey, they need to really put it beyond Fulham's reach. As nice as that would be, this is obviously a first of two legs. So it's important to remember, especially with a side that's going in with a lot of injuries, that's going in with probably going to have to start a bit of youth, probably not going to be able to get those balls out like Trent does. And even if they do get a ball out the back from a Konate or a Virgil van Dijk, it's going to be very different from the position that a Trent finds those players in, right? Now, obviously, in previous games against Fulham, I actually think we kind of got away with it. And if you look at the profile of where we've been at before against Fulham, especially if you look earlier in the season, let me just pull up the Fulham fixture because it was quite an interesting one. Yeah, Liverpool beat Fulham 4-3 earlier in the season. I just wanted to go through this one. Trent scored late, Wataru Endo scored late. They had us 3-2 down at one point. Obviously, I mentioned Bobby Deco-Overeem, but I also mentioned Kenny Tete, and there's also obviously ex-Liverpool player Harry Wilson. I'll be interested to see who starts in that front line. In the last game, they lined up against us, obviously with Raul Jimenez. I think Liverpool would have a bit of a nightmare with Raul Jimenez, but I wonder if he's not going to be in the Cups. I wonder if he's probably more of a Premier League player, especially if you look at Fulham obviously just trying to build on the position they found themselves in last year, stay very solidly in the league, not really be not in touching distance of everyone behind them. They also had Iwobi, they also had people like Pereira, obviously Harry Wilson, and then they had a really strong midfield with Harrison Reed and Palhinha in there. I'd be interested to see if they start that. In previous games, obviously, they beat Everton. They also beat, I think it was Ipswich too. And the Everton game obviously ended in penalties, and the Ipswich game obviously ended 3-1 to Fulham in the end. So it's not like they've been going on some sort of crazy cup tear here. And obviously, over the 2 legs again, they're going to want to manage it. They're away at Anfield. You don't want to let the game get away from you. I think a game like this requires a lot of patience. Now, again, we'll go back to the Arsenal game. What does the Arsenal game afford Liverpool? It affords them the understanding that with time in the game and, with you moving the opposition around, working the system, moving a couple of pieces, being able to bring on these units, which then shift the balance of the game and shift where the emphasis is within the game, you get a different outcome. Liverpool showed a belief in what the system was. And I think that's another thing we really need to credit Klopp and Pep Lijnders for at this point. There is true belief in the system that this Liverpool team are playing. So when a Trent goes out in the last game, whether he's forced out by injury or whether Liverpool feel that there is an element of, hey, we need to bring on a natural right back, not that Trent isn't, but a natural right back who can just sit back, defend against Martinelli. Whether you want to roast Conor Bradley with a Martinelli or someone like that, it's kind of interesting to look at it makes me instantly think, okay, they knew Trent was injured, they knew he needed to come off, they brought on a youngster like that, and, that's a good thing, but at the same time, obviously you always want Trent in there. You always want your preferred back line, and Trent is obviously Liverpool's preferred back line. Whether he would have played in this game anyway is a whole other question. Joe Gomez played in the last game. Joe Gomez played in the game before that. Obviously, it was a very convincing win over West Ham, but West Ham kind of played into our hands at Anfield. I felt like West Ham had very low confidence. David Moyes has got a very poor record against Liverpool in general, but at the same time, they also decided to play attacking football, which kind of played into Liverpool's press, which kind of played into Liverpool's system. Now, to talk about Liverpool's press, talk about Liverpool's system, I still think we're going to go 4-3-3. I think we'll have much more of a back four. It will be interesting to see, by the way, whether they do. Obviously, I think McAllister's going to have to play the 6 because I'm not sure that we've got much other cover there. I think, therefore, that brings Curtis Jones a little bit deeper. I think it probably brings Harvey Elliott a little bit deeper as well. I think you'll see Harvey coming back to help the youngsters quite a lot and to try and offer cover. And you'll probably see a more aggressive Konate. I think Joe Gomez has to play left back. Obviously, I'd love to have some more fullbacks within the side. I think we've got a fullback in Calvin Ramsey out on loan at the moment, though he's probably a right winger, which is why we've probably got Ben Doak over him at the moment. So there's a lot of things moving. But what I'm saying is, within that system, Liverpool struggled and Arsenal quite easily breaking Liverpool's press, but also pressing Liverpool very easily until they shifted a few things around in the second half. Constructing a press and constructing an intense way of playing and a malleable way of playing in the Cups, in Europe, in the Premier League, I think that's a bigger task than a lot of people think. I think a lot of people think of it in terms of just a one-size-fits-all idea, like the old days of 4-4-2, where it's sort of like, hey, we're just going to 4-4-2 this one, put Sheringham and York or York and Cole up front and, we'll be fine. It's not the way it works anymore. Like, you need to have that adaptability. You need to have that understanding of the game, which I think a lot of players now probably are very differently briefed, are very differently maintained. And you can see the difference in this Liverpool team. There was a vivid and deep understanding of what it was that Arsenal were going to do. And the belief in the team was that if they ride out these periods of these Arsenal onslaughts and they find a way to counter some of these things, sometimes you can see the side sort of going, right, we just need to dig in here and we almost need to go to a default setting where we will get attacked, we will sit a lot deeper and we're going to work out where we go. The balls are going to go out to X, the balls are going to go to Y, the balls are going to go to X. And we're going to find ways of solving these issues. They don't necessarily just go, cool, you attack us, we'll attack you. That came later in the game for Liverpool. And the same will happen tonight when we see the strength of this Fulham side, when we see how they're going to line up against Liverpool, when we see whether they try and exploit the same things that they had, and also whether they try and exploit, let's be honest, a goalkeeper who's had a couple of difficult games this season. There's been a couple of times we've gone, could he have got to that shot? Could he have covered better back over the goal for, I think it was that Fulham game. So there's a number of different, I want to say variables, but everything's variable. So, but there's a number of different variables here where we're looking at the West Ham game, probably not a blueprint, but the one time that West Ham did get through, or the one of a few times West Ham did get through, they scored a very decent goal. And that was when they wrong-footed Konate, go back, cut inside, bam, goes to the far post. And then the Bournemouth game, looking at that side, Jarell Quansah against Joel Matip and Joe Gomez and Tsimikas, the midfield, again, They fielded what I would probably expect to be the midfield tonight, with Endo swapped out for McAllister. And then up front, probably are going to have Cody Gakpo. You probably are going to have probably a younger player out there with them, and then you're going to have someone in there for Mo Salah. It makes me question where Harvey Elliott's going to play tonight, whether Elliott and another midfielder are going to end up swapping around, and whether Liverpool are going to try a young midfielder in there to push Harvey Elliott a little bit wider and just give Liverpool a bit more nous, and it's weird to call Harvey Elliott obviously nous, but a bit more experience in that position. What will we see? Maybe Luis Diaz will be shifting around. Will we even field Luis Diaz in a game like this? I'd be interested to know what you guys think in the comments below. If you've got any thoughts on the match, let me know. I will be doing a review later on this very channel. And if you want to support us on the Patreon, or you just want to support in general, you're very welcome to. We are almost at the position of being able to monetize this channel too, which obviously will help us in 2024 when a lot of people are pulling their ad rev or pulling their sponsorships from many different channels. Having said that, let's just be positive about the space. We're really looking to grow this project, grow the other channel as well, and grow the Patreon so we can make some bespoke videos which are going to sit across both channels. Got some big plans for this and the other channels. We've got a Discord over there, so head over there. And yeah, I'm kind of wondering whether you do like a live Discord or there's like a little chat in there somewhere. I'll be honest, I'm not massive on Discord just yet, but I've got it. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to get in the mix with you guys. You can go over there and be a free member. I don't actually know how free members of Patreon work on the Discord. It will work. Anyway, appreciate you guys. Have a good game tonight. I hope you enjoy it. And I'll be here post-match to go through everything tactically. Much love. Bye.